Welcome to Paraguay, welcome to the 2017 Dakar.
Welcome to Paraguay and our host for the start of Dakar 2017, Asunción, the oldest and biggest city in this landlocked South American country. The capital city is a growing metropolis on the banks of the Paraguay River, which winds its way from Brazil and, like the new route of the Dakar Rally, also flows through Bolivia and Argentina. For the 2 million city dwellers, it is a city rich in culture and history, with a subtropical climate where football and motorsport rule. Dakar started in grand fashion in Asunción. President of Paraguay, Horacio Cortés, inviting all the main protagonists of the rally to his residence, with the host nation representatives meeting the Dakar stars.
It's a dream that is now becoming a reality, and it goes beyond all we expected. We can see it through the way the people are reacting and how happy everyone is. And it also shows how we have prepared and how much we want to show what our country has to offer. Today, thanks to the Dakar, we will be able to reach so many people around the world, thanks to programs on 70 channels, over 20 million TV viewers. It's truly a historical moment for Paraguay.
All the main contenders for victory and the rally organisers were present at the Casa Amarilla for an entertaining cocktail.
For the Dakar family, I believe it's a magical moment. We're discovering a new country which has a huge amount to offer. Today is very moving, with the president and all of the competitors who are title contenders in all categories. It's a great chance to gather some energy before we take off.
It's a great honor and a great privilege to meet the president, and you know, it's a new country we come to now in Paraguay, and it's always nice to see new places.
Thank you so much. It's a very special moment for me for my 4th consecutive Dakar. What better place than my city, my country to start? It really motivates me.
Also present at President Cortés' reception was, of course, his Minister for Sports, the former tennis legend of the late 70s, Victor Pecci.
My name is Victor Pecci, former professional tennis player and now Minister of Sports of Paraguay.
I'd like to welcome you all to the 2017 Dakar. Back in the day, he was one of the biggest stars of South America, reaching the final of the French Open in 1979, only beaten by the King of Clay, Sweden's Bjorn Borg.
1979 and 1981 were my best moments as a sportsman. I believe it was the only final in France at Roland Garros where the loser, because I did lose that final, was lifted onto people's shoulders, and that is something I will never forget. In Paris I made friends not only in the world of tennis but also beyond.
Close to 40 years after that final defeat to Borg, Pecci welcomes another major event, the Dakar, to his nation, Paraguay.
I believe that in Paraguay there will be a before the Dakar and an after the Dakar. It'll be great promotion for the country. It will show Paraguay to the world. Thanks to the event, it will attract athletes and help us organise more big events.
Paraguay becomes the 5th South American country to host the Dakar, and certainly has a lot to offer in terms of passion and terrain.
Well, it's going to be a very different new year in Paraguay. It should be quite the party. All of the hotels are full. Not only will it attract tourists from abroad, it will also bring people from every part of Paraguay who will come to enjoy the launch of the Dakar Rally. It'll be a party that only football can rival.
Bienvenido al Dakar. After years on African soil, the Dakar was warmly welcomed by a new continent. For nearly 10 years now, the rally has firmly established itself in South America, in countries that have so much to offer.
It was quite a challenge because we didn't know what we would find.
It was scary.
We found something new, the fervour of not only a country, but of an entire continent.
We've discovered fabulous territories, magical countries. Peru, Chile, Argentina, now Paraguay, and of course, Bolivia.
Bolivie, bien sûr.
We're born again on a new continent, still with the same name, with still close to 10,000 kilometers.
There was a slight change of concept. Now it's a faster race and more technical.
And with an amazing crowd.
There was an explosion of enthusiasm on behalf of the South Americans who came from everywhere to see an event that they didn't know.
When we were in Peru, in Chile, in Argentina and Bolivia, people were waiting for us and were proud to show us their country. We saw people excited on the side of the track, cheering us, and it motivates us, of course.
It's the summer celebration. It's a social event in South America.
You know what I felt? Satisfaction. On s'est bien amusé.
We had good fun.
Ouais, Paris réussi.
And the bet was won.
The 2017 Dakar sets off from Asuncion on January 2nd as Paraguay becomes the 29th country to host the world's most famous rally raid. It'll be straight on to the heat of Argentina before the race takes to the skies, passing into Bolivia and climbing to heights of over 4,000 metres above sea level. The long journey south kicks off with a familiar run to the salt flats of Uyuni, and the Dakar then winds its way back down to Argentina, reaching the finish line in Buenos Aires on January 14th.
Physically, it promises to be an extremely difficult Dakar. The conditions here in Paraguay are tough, with heat and humidity. Then we head to Bolivia with very different conditions. And of course the altitude, which will put a lot of strain on competitors' bodies. After that, we'll finish off in Argentina with the hottest conditions of the entire rally and very long distances after many days of racing. So physically, I'm expecting it to be a very tough Dakar indeed.
And to design such a demanding course, it took Mark Kermer and his team days of hard work in all three countries. During the recce, we looked for interesting tracks and we looked for the right kind of sand that all the competitors want in terms of dunes. There were many days of exploring. I mean, to talk numbers, in Bolivia alone, we spent 30 days with the team, searching, discovering, exploring.
Con nuestro equipo hemos pasado más de 30 días explorando, recorriendo, buscando. Vamos a intentar
We're going to try and make navigation more difficult with fewer functions on the GPS systems. The idea is to focus on not losing the spirit of the Dakar.
Todo esto enfocado a intentar no perder este espíritu del Dakar, ¿no?
The trialling, the most trial-like part of the Dakar, is here.
The task promises to be arduous for the top competitors trying to win the Dakar, for the privateers just trying to finish it.
There's a cocktail of amateurs and professionals who share the same passion on the same event with the same course and the same determination. There's an incredible sense of community among those doing the Dakar. They have the same passion. They're really competing on the Dakar here in South America. It's an event that has made them what they are for many years now.
The Dakar Rally really kicked off back in November as scrutineering began for the European competitors in Le Havre on the north coast of France.
First step is going in the competitor's reception. This is the GPS, this is the motorbike GPS, the car GPS is a bit bigger. Then once here you can also order cables and brackets and collect them here. And let's say the worst case you forgot something, you can buy it here.
It's vital to ensure that every vehicle is up to scratch.
Right now we're carrying out technical checks on the vehicles. We're making sure that they meet all the regulation and safety norms.
And this is the Erie track. The Erie track is the same for all the vehicles, and you have different brackets obviously that you can choose from.
The Iratrack is a GPS tracking system which allows us to know where each competitor is in real time. It will react if a vehicle turns over or suffers a collision. It can also communicate with race headquarters, especially if there's a medical emergency. We can get to an accident site on the Dakar more quickly than on a French motorway.
In the case you're racing Malmoto, you'll be allowed to bring here to Le Havre one trunk where you can stock your spare parts, one gear bag, a tent and a spare set of wheels. And the Malmoto truck will bring these items to every stage.
With all of the preliminary checks completed, it was time to load the bikes, quads, cars and trucks onto a huge cargo ship for the long trip over to South America. All in all, over 600 vehicles made the journey across the Atlantic. On to Asuncion, where the final checks are now being made in the days leading up to the rally. The South Americans in particular have to make sure that all their paperwork is in order before heading for their final vehicle checks. Safety, as ever, is the watchword, and the organisers have to ensure that all of the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed before the Dakar can really take off.